Bless them. Big up to DC Productions. You don't know Sean Paul, there ain't no second guessing. Taking it to the limit and beyond. You know what I mean? Making them know it's the DC Productions got the flow. Hear me now? Keep it locked. Dirty.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Uncut by General Mutombo, the podcast where we bring the closest to African excellence professionals from here in Washington State. And today I have the best surprise for you guys. I have a brother, a friend, an entrepreneur, a community leader, amongst a lot of other things. My friend, my brother, Davies Chirwa. Welcome to the show.
In the flesh, man. I'm humbled. I'm humbled to be here, man.
For guys who don't know, do they know what you do, Chirwa? Davies Chirwa, Mr. Davies Chirwa is the CEO of Channel ATV. He's an award-winning global ambassador for human empowerment, a human influencer expert, and a visionary of serial entrepreneurship. Brother has a lot of accolades on his name. You want to talk business? This the guy. He's the founder of Channel ATV, DC Productions Media Group, and a celebrity film producer. He's not only the exclusive media productions, he has the exclusive rights to this media productions, he also does prestigious documentaries which have featured not only President Obama, NFL Super Bowl players, officials, MTV Awards, BET Awards, U.S Soccer, I'm telling you, the soccer team, you need to see his pictures, brother. NBA, Seattle Seahawks, which is the national team we have here in Washington State. The UW Huskies Football, Seattle Sounders, which is our football club, We Day, AVP Volleyball, FIFA Soccer plus. Hey, brother, there are so many I cannot. My saliva is over.
I was gonna say, who are you talking about? Did I realize it's me?
Let me tell you, Shasta Court in Koshua, I know vibes. This guy right here, Davies Chirwa, needs his flowers, and we have come here today for Mr. Chirwa's flowers, man. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Chirwa to the show, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm humbled.
Let's take it to the basic, brother. How's your Friday? How's your day? It's a good Friday. How's your day?
My Friday is typical for me. My Friday is interesting, but it's one of my favorite days, actually, because Friday, I feel like I can wind down. Even though mostly I have most events on weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Okay. But this Friday specifically, I'm already done with all I was doing. right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But it was a very interesting Friday. Yesterday, which was Thursday. Remember, I was supposed to do the interview on yesterday, but I couldn't do it. Today we waited because I was doing the Energy Africa conference. So basically, the best in energy throughout the world, they had a virtual conference and I produced it. So I happened to be committed for that 5 hours today and 5 hours yesterday. But they're in the East Coast, so I had to start a little bit early. But this is you we're talking, so I had to show up, man. I had to show up.
I love it, brother.
I had to show up.
How much you have stopped in the community, how much you have invested in the community. But this journey began somewhere.
Yes.
If someone was to walk up and ask you, Davies Chirwa, where did your journey begin? Where did it begin?
Man, that's it's a loaded question. Because every day I wake up and I look at all this, sometimes I'm reminded by the people that I meet on the streets. They tell me, oh man, you inspired me to do this and do that. And I realize, you don't wake up and say, I want to inspire someone.
Correct.
So we get inspired in the process,
Correct.
And so for me, the journey began by just wanting it more than anybody else. My mentality has always been like, I want to be the best version of who I can be. Not in comparison to somebody else, but just the best version of myself. So with that said, coming from Africa, moving here, I come from humble beginnings. And so, but I always had the drive. There are two things that carry me: the faith that I have, the fear of God that I have, and the fear of failure as well. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I'm sorry, but but I'm keeping it real, right? I can be real with you, right?
So was this always your first dream to be this media entrepreneur, or did you have a first dream? Because I wanted to be a dentist first, but things happened otherwise.
Our culture, where we come from. Everybody, if you're not a doctor, you're not a lawyer, you're not successful, right? You're not successful. Yeah. But I was lucky enough to be surrounded by people who think otherwise. But growing up, while I was in school, I studied electrical technology, and I wanted to be an engineer in electronics, and then eventually I became, when computers came to Africa, and that time I was working in Lilongwe in Malawi, right? So I happened to be one of the first people to install the networks for the whole country of Malawi when I left Zambia. So I'm proud because they can look up the government gazette and they can see my name that I was one of the people who designed.
You gave something back.
Yes. We created the networks for the government, and so that was the beginning. So when I came to Seattle, I had the opportunity to work with all these corporations.
Okay.
But I learned something from there, which was the structure of putting things into perspective. And then the drive that you have to make sure that I can try. By the time I try something and it doesn't work out, I know that I gave it everything I had. So that's what I learned from that. But then with that said, I felt constrained, working for...
You didn't feel like your swings
Yes, man. Working in corporate America is a whole different game. So I was just like, man, there's got to be something out there. There's got to be something out there.
Was the salaries not good? Because a lot of people want to work in corporate.
The money was good.
Okay.
The money was good.
Right.
And that's when I realized that it's not money actually that makes you happy. It's a component of finding happiness from within.
It's a tool. Money is a tool.
It's a tool that allows you, it gives you the tools to do the things that you want to do on the outside, but then happiness comes from within.
From within.
Yes.
Let me ask you, my brother, why Seattle? Because it rains here, bro. It rains here. Like a lot of people that have gone like close to Africa, like Destin, Florida, California.
Right.
Why did you come to Seattle first? What attracted you about Seattle?
Yeah, so I've been around, throughout I travel for a living. So, but every time I try to move, I'm just like, man, I love it here. I love the greenery. I love the way it smells. I love the fact that you can raise kids and they can experience a little bit of the hood, not too much, because we don't have the real hood yet. just enough. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So we have the suburbs everywhere, but there's a balance here. There's a balance, and then there's also great opportunities, especially when it comes to the corporations, like you said. We have Microsoft here, Amazon, Google, Facebook, you name it, right? So if you're not successful here,
I don't know where.
I don't know. Then
that's
right. And you don't have to work for those corporations I'm talking about, but you can get contracts from them, depending on what you decide to do.
So, in a few words, tell us what was the brainchild behind Channel ATV and DC Productions. How did this come about?
Good question. I've always been interested in bringing people together, right? So when I started DC Production started first before Channel ATV. Rolling back, most people, if you hear somebody calling me DC, that means they know me. From way back there, right? So nobody called me by my name, by the government name. They just call me my initials, right?
Correct.
So I'm like, when I started the business, I'm wondering, what am I gonna call it? So then I was just like, well, how about DC Productions? And then it stuck. So for years and years and years, most people knew the brand before they even knew the person who owns the brand.
And so at the beginning, what was DC Production all about? Was it music production, film production, advertisement? What was it?
It was, again, good question. Because when I created events to bring people together, for example, if it's a pageant or if it's independence for the community that I'm producing or something like that, I realized I need a lot of these different components.
Correct.
Lighting, sound, videographers, all these things.
Editing,
So I couldn't find the quality of what I was looking for. I knew I could see it in my head, but I could not see it in reality, with the resources that we had.
We had at that time.
Yes. So I just said, you know what? Forget this. Let me just invest a little bit of money in here and see how it works. It was my dream.
Money.
Correct. So I started, building slowly, buy a camera, buy a lens, buy another lens. Wife is tripping, kids are tripping, family is tripping, mother is tripping, everybody's tripping, right? Why are you spending money on this? You're not gonna, what about your education? Why don't you just use your education and leave this alone? And I'm like, well, this makes me happy, And so I kept moving. And the more you start becoming a master of any craft, the more you realize how much information you don't have. And so I was able to experience that in real life. And so that's what gave me the drive to be the person that you see today. It was the hunger to represent myself well, to represent my community well, to represent my people well. And so I kept doing a lot of research. Way before Google was popular,
correct.
I was sticking. Of course, I have a technology background. I was sticking my head in the mud and just do research. Because even though you have the cameras, not all cameras are the same. It's just but you have to understand the lighting. You have to understand what type of lenses are going to give you a certain perspective. you have to know, for those of you guys who are in film, you need to know that if I'm trying to make somebody look muscular, how do you film that? You probably hold the camera on top, and look, you know, if you want to make them smaller, you aim from the top, you looking down, because psychologically, to a person who's watching, they're going to remove their masculinity from a person who is smaller.
Yes.
And if I want to make you mighty and powerful, I'll shoot above. You know, things like that.
Things like that.
So when you start understanding all those components and really having the cameras moving, you know, all the time, you know, in motion, you know, little things like that can change the way information is captured. Yeah.
Man,
So,
man, big up, man.
yeah.
I'm learning a lot too myself, man. Let me ask you. So when you began, and I know it's a lot of challenges because a lot of film students are watching you right now.
Yes.
What are some of the things you wish you knew when you started DC Productions? That right now you'd be like, man, if I knew this, it would have saved me so much time, so much energy. Or
Yeah.
is the learning process you have to take the curve like everybody else?
Yeah.
What do you advise?
It's I didn't have any mentorship.
Okay.
Yeah, mentorship is a big thing. So if you want to be successful in this industry, you have to have mentors that are going to show you, because you can be good at your craft, right? You can be as good as it gets. But then there's a business side of things. There's also the you know, your character. You know, if you become successful and you start doing crazy stuff, then no corporation is going to hire
work with you.
Yeah, they don't want to work with you. So all those components, they work together for good. So I didn't have that. You know, I didn't have that. So folks who are watching this, especially the young one, the youth, if you're watching this, you need to find someone who can mentor you through the process. And for us mentees, you don't have to sit around and say, oh, I mentored you, I mentored you, and I mentored you, and I mentored you. It doesn't work like that. You know, you do it because you love it. And I can sincerely say and humbly say at the same time that within my community, there are so many people that I've mentored.
You have.
And if you're watching this, you know yourselves, but you'll never hear me mention somebody's name like that, but I love doing what I do, and I think that's one of my biggest calling, and the strength that I have that carries me on. Because if I can move a person from this perspective to the next perspective until they get where they're trying to go, you can't describe the happiness that comes with that.
Vibes. Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned in today at the African Excellence, where we bring only the excellence. People are encouraging you to be your best version of yourself.
That's right.
When you won the award for Global Ambassador for Human Empowerment, tell us how the experience was.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I've won a lot of awards, and you know, every award that you win is different. And of course, you don't sit around sitting, I need to win an award. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it's merits.
It's merits. It's based on merits, and most people know that, you know, you have showbiz, you have the community, you have the religion, you have your family, you have all these things. That nothing can be compared to looking into your own kids or your own wife or your own husband, and they tell you that they're proud of you. That's the best award I've ever won.
That's the best.
That's the best. Yeah. So, and those of you that are watching, you know my family. To you, this person that you see, I know this, I know that, I can do all these things. But to my family, they're always looking for things that I can improve on. I'm like, man, you know, when is this gonna stop? You know. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you can never do right by them. But it took me time to understand, to say, no, I actually do right by them. They just want the best version of who I can be. But going back to your question, and this is actually, I just realized, this is the first sit-down interview that I'm doing after I won the Harper Awards, man. Shout out to Harper Awards, man, you know, in LA, yeah.
Hey, by the way, Harper Awards.
That's
Ladies
right.
and gentlemen, Harper Awards is
That's
Hollywood
right.
Awards for diaspora. What's
It's
the
Hollywood African Prestigious Awards. Yes.
Correct. And it was hosted by the biggest comedian,
Yes.
African comedian.
Yes,
His name
yes.
is Michael Blackson.
Michael Blackson,
Mayenge was there. Who
Cynthia Bailey, Claudia Jordan, the Gooden brothers. I mean, a whole bunch of folks that you know.
Wow.
You know. Yeah.
Now, this is not the first Harper Awards. You've gone to Hollywood. You're a regular at all.
Yeah.
When you go to Hollywood. When you go to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Do you go now as a global ambassador? Do you go as an entrepreneur? How do you go with DC Productions and like capture the whole moments? Because
Yes.
you take really good moments.
All right. Yeah. That's actually. I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yes.
So, DC Production does all the fun stuff.
Okay.
Which is more like the entertainment, you know, the stuff. I see a lot of crazy stuff, right? Fashion, all that.
Yeah.
You know, with that, I use the production perspective. Then channel ATV is what gives me access.
Oh,
Write that down.
nice.
Access is the number one thing that you need if you have to grow exponentially. Because if you don't have access,
You don't get these rooms without access.
No.
Access is why you get to stay.
That's right.
Go ahead.
if I didn't have access, I wouldn't be sitting here, right? Look how
Yes.
beautiful it is. I mean, look, you guys see the view, like,
That's you, Davies. That's all you, bro.
Yeah, man,
But
so-
what's the importance of access, and how do you earn access? Because there's a lot of people, from Africa, we had nepotism.
Yeah.
But in America, especially in the media,
Yeah.
it's all merit, it's
Yeah.
all work, and
Yeah.
then trust gives you certain rooms.
That's right, yeah.
What's the importance of that?
It's the quality of what you present. Yeah, most people are worried about how many likes they're gonna get on a picture, how many shares they're gonna get on a video or things like that. While that's important, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is the quality of the product that you put out. I make sure that if I go to an event, there's a series of all these celebrity videographers or photographers.
You don't get flustered.
No, no. I'm right there with them, and when they look at me, they know. And all these years, you realize that everybody knows everybody. So if I go to LA or I go to New York,
Familiar
wherever I
faces.
go, everybody knows everybody. When you get to a certain level in life, then it's just like the pool gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
The top people, they say it's lonely at the top. You're getting
That's
fewer and
right.
fewer people, yes.
That's right. But then you also learn that I need to get it together because I thought I was the best in my village, but then
was
you
just
find
the
out. Then you find out, you still need to do some more work. But I've had an amazing life, man. I can honestly tell you, I've had a fantastic journey.
Satisfied.
Yeah.
Satisfied is, go ahead.
If I left today, I'll know that I poured everything out of my cup.
And everything
That much I
gave
can
it
tell
to
you.
the community.
Yeah, it's just a few weeks when I lost one of our clients. You guys watched Black Panther, so I do have
Yeah,
two
the
clients from
lady.
there. Yes.
You interviewed the lady.
Yes, I
What's
did.
her
I
name?
did.
The
Dorothy Steele.
Oh,
So-
rest in power.
Yes.
Dorothy Steele. Dorothy Steele played one of the good
The elders.
grandmothers in Black
Yes.
Panther. You could see her face.
Yes,
I'll put it
yes.
here. You guys will see it.
Absolutely, and then we
Awesome
do have the
stories.
lovely Connie Chiumi, who is also in Black Panther,
Yeah.
and Black Panther 2 is coming up, so you'll be able to see both of them. But unfortunately, Dorothy passed on just a few weeks ago, and that was heartbreaking. As much as I knew, I mean, she was 95 by the time she passed,
still-
but there's a lot of learning, with being around Dorothy. You just had a wealth of knowledge
You
that
had
you
an
consumed.
interview with her.
Yes.
How was the interview? How was she as a person? Because you met
She
her.
was funny. She was calling me the husband. I was the last husband before she passed. So, yeah. So Doris was something else, man. But she said something that I never, even up to now, I've never
Please
heard of
share
that.
with us if you can.
Yeah, she said, this is what she told me. She said, Davies, you're very smart. You're the smartest guy I've ever met. I said, Dorothy, don't give me a bigger head, man. I don't.
I'm
But she was,
not-
no, I'm telling you, you're so talented and blah, 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 blah. This is a woman who's worked with everybody else in the industry, right?
Eddie Murphy.
But
to-
she said,
yes.
when it comes to marriage, you suck because I'm here trying to call you a husband and you still, haven't said anything. I was like, oh
She
my
had
God.
jokes.
She had jokes. And then she told me one thing. She said, this is why the Bible says one thing that's so true. I said, what's that? And then she was like, you guys are powerful as men because we as women are created from your rib. And I was like, okay, yeah, I think I read the Bible. I think I
yeah.
understand that. And then she was like, but there's one thing that the Bible doesn't say.
What?
It says, God created Adam and then created Eve out of the rib of Adam. But he had put him to sleep to do that.
Yeah.
What the Bible doesn't mention is that you guys woke up with Adam because Adam never woke up, so you men are still sleeping. I say, oh my goodness.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. That's a
So,
way to bring it.
like I tell you, man,
You
it
guys
was
are still
just,
sleeping?
we're still sleeping. So I was like, okay,
Oh, man.
I guess I can do better. So,
Oh,
but
man,
that
an
was
experience, man.
yeah, it was quite a great experience, and I'm still grateful even up to now. I'm working on some of the projects with Connie Chiuma, who's in South Africa. Shout out to you, Connie, if you're watching this.
Shout out.
She's still in Black Panther, and hopefully you'll see her in Black Panther 2 as well.
Guys,
but yeah,
stay
man,
tuned.
I have a lot of good people, that really support me. If I go down the list, I mean,
It
we'll
was
be
a
here
lot.
forever.
That's why there was a
Yeah.
question I was going to ask, but you have a lot of influence, people who have really shaped your stuff.
That's right.
Let me ask you, what are
Yeah.
your 3 top cities to visit not as DC Productions,
Yeah.
just as a global ambassador? What are your 3 top cities you love in America?
You know, when you live in the United States, as much as everywhere you turn, there's a McDonald's and there's a Best Buy and all this stuff. Every city has something significant.
Okay.
So if you haven't traveled, I'd encourage you to travel because you'll realize that some cities, the cultures are different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my favorite one, I love California,
Yeah,
but I love
California.
it just enough to be there just for a couple weeks top max, and I'm out.
I'm
You know,
down.
I'm
It's too hot
out.
for you.
So I just came back, and I'm getting ready to go back. Super Bowl is going to be in LA this time around, so I'm excited to go back.
Okay.
I'm going to, in a couple of weeks, I'll be going to back to Atlanta, and then from there going to New York. New York is also another city that I love.
It's busy. Yes.
Yeah, it's busy, but only at night. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like New York during the day, but at night it's
It's
amazing.
It's a different type of beauty.
You know, so it reminds you like, oh, I'm actually in America. Because sometimes, as much as I've lived here for all these years,
America's New York.
America's New York, and I still forget, that when I see the lights and all these things, it reminds me of the reason why we are here.
Decided to come
Yeah, but when it comes to just having a great time and just being with the family and friends, Vegas is one of my favorites.
Vibes on
Yeah.
vibes. Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned into the African Excellence. We're here with Davies Chirwa sharing his life and journey to get over here. Oh, let's go on a little tangent. You have a daughter?
Yes.
What's your daughter's name?
Tandy, she is 16 years old. She's driving. She has a job. Oh my God, I am not ready. So yeah, she's driving, and if you're a parent and you're watching this, you can understand. It's actually tough, man.
Yeah.
It's emotional.
Because they're growing up fast.
You have to. I would encourage you to still apply for a gun if you don't have one already. Just And I have my son as well, who is everybody who says, oh, he's a handsome boy, and I'm tired of that as well. Yeah. And then I get all these DMs from all these little girls from Africa and stuff like that, talking about, oh, he broke my heart, this and that. I'm like,
this guy already.
So I just blocked them. Because before, man, I just used to accept whoever, but now, no, I go through just to make sure that we don't cloud the process.
The process and everything.
Yeah.
Give them space now they grow.
That's
right.
right.
What's kind of as a father and as an entrepreneur, how do you maintain a balance within family and the job? Because some people can't do it. I know some people make sacrifices, especially in my comedy world.
Yeah.
They've lost family to chase the career, or they lost the career to keep the family. How do you balance it?
Very good question. You have to have your priorities. It takes me back to the way I was raised. It's God first, then the family, and then everything else. Because when you put God first, God is going to make sure that your morals are in tune. When your morals are in tune, you're going to know that God wants you to take care of your family. God wants you to protect your family. God wants you to teach your own family.
That is your mission.
That's your mission. So those are the things that I try to put in order. I make sure that my spiritual wealth keeps growing, and then also making sure that my family is taken care of. But with that said, you have to have that balance, because you need to give your family just enough time, and you also need to have enough time to do your work.
Correct.
But I don't just do my job, ladies and gentlemen. I do a lot of research. Right now, this very moment, I can tell you the best camera out right now. I can tell you.
You're already on the market.
I can tell you the best, phone that components that you can use with the phone. I can tell you. That's not an accident. You have to keep up. You have to think. You have to do research. You have to stay hungry. Yes. So, and I love what I do, and that's the most important thing. If you love your job, you're gonna become the best of who you can be, because it doesn't feel like I'm working,
And you're enjoying it. You can pump more time to it.
Yes, and I'm blessed enough to have a lot of good friends like you, General Mutombo, the man behind the scenes, So it's a good thing to learn, to continuously learn, and be hungry and thirsty all the time. So yeah, here we are.
Yes, here we are. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. DC Production himself in the flesh has taken a lot of mentees, that's the word, mentees to all these shows. He has covered the national rugby in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even mention that. I'm telling you, he's been behind the scenes at the BET red carpet. Man, how was the BET red carpet experience, bro?
Yeah, the BET it's an amazing experience, man. There's so many things that I cannot talk about here, which some of it will inspire you, some of it will actually make you think like we can do better.
We can do better, correct.
For example, you watch TV, you see a lot of black folks in front of the TV.
Correct.
but why can't we have enough black folks behind the scenes as well?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
correct.
So, but that's changed over the years. So for me to experience all that change is inspiring. You know, I say this to a lot of kids. You know, sometimes when I teach these kids in college, you know, they ask me, they're taking media classes, and they'll say, oh, I want to work for the NFL. I want to work for, you know, it's so competitive, because you have to think about this. Not only are they judging on your skill, they're judging you on your popularity, the people that you know, the people that follow you, all that stuff. And that is why you see when you watch TV and you're watching the NFL games, for example, the commentary that you see a lot of people who either played football or they are from within. You see what I'm saying?
Circle, yeah.
Yes. So how does a brother like me or a sister like you have create an opportunity to work in those high-level opportunities? You have to stand out. It goes back to the quality of work that I was talking about.
The quality you're doing, what you're giving people.
Yeah, and then the things that I focus on when I'm covering, say, a game or something like that, I know that everybody's watching in real time, they're watching the game, but I focus on the stories of what the players have. Because most of those players that you see, a lot of those guys are good guys. They give back to the community. They do all types of things to help the community, but nobody really puts so much, nobody does. Because we're all focused on their game. And so that's what propelled me to get all these opportunities over the years. And I'm so proud that I've been covering, you know, Super Bowl since 2014,
hey!
You know. When the Seahawks won in New York, that was one of my favorite. Yeah, that was beautiful. And so that's number one. So the quality of what you put out has to be there. Number two, you don't just take the footage, go home, produce the stuff, and let it go. You also have to remember on the anniversary, remind them, hey, remember this time, remember I shot this, you know, stuff like that. Tag the right people, put the right descriptions. So right now, and again, you might want to write this down. Okay. I don't just film something and post it. Right now, I'm using a lot of artificial intelligence, you know, AI.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm using to make sure that the captioning is right, to make sure that the videos are compressed to where most people can actually use it even on the phone.
Or the regular,
because just because you film something in 4K or 6K, you don't just, you know, put it up, because you have to know that it's meant to go to different places, and you need to understand what footage goes in what avenue, you know. So that's the key.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you're getting all the juice from my brother DC. We'll be right back after this break.
Back on part two, right?
We are back on part two, ladies and gentlemen. We're going in. Let me ask you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
What's the one common myth about production, journalism, especially the diaspora? Because a lot of people don't do it. You are acing and moving places.
Yeah.
What's one thing you want to tell people right now? This is a myth. This is not the truth.
Yeah, they don't realize how lucrative it is, how much money you can make producing stuff. Especially if you go through innovation. I'll give you an example. You don't know this. I was one of the first people in the world to actually produce something virtually for over 15 hours.
What?
During the pandemic, yes.
Damn,
and I can back up what I'm saying, you know.
Big.
So, yeah. So that's, and I humbly say that, you know. But you have to be innovative enough to be able to think outside the box. There's a financial gain that comes with media, but more than just the financial part of it, there's also the wealth of knowledge that comes with that. Through access, because media gives you access, just like I said in part one. You know, so once you have access, then you realize that media can take you to places. And I remember, you know, going through the tunnels that leads into all these secret places that I cannot usually talk about too much. And I was like, okay, here's President Obama. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So in that moment, I'm not only a fan. I
You're
have to
part
still
of
be
it, yes.
yes. I have to be a professional.
Correct.
I met your president, President Uhuru.
Uhuru Kenyatta, yes.
And there was Uhuru, there was Museveni. There are all these presidents, and they're sitting as close as I am to you right
And
now.
you're saying this is possible.
And I'm asking questions, and we're going back and forth, and I'm like, oh my God. In that moment, I realized these are the presidents that make decisions for our families back home.
So your questions are important. They
My
have to
questions
be-
are important. So I'm speaking on behalf of
Allowing.
the whole country or on behalf of the whole community. So that's what comes with that. So there's a myth that people just think you're just taking pictures and all this other stuff, but no. It drives deeper than you think. So there's a lot of gratification that comes with what I
the
do.
work you're doing.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Davies, for everything you're doing for the community.
Thank you, sir.
Who are some of the 3 people you look up to? Like you spoke about mentors, but who are some of the people also in your line of work, or whichever facet of your entrepreneurship that you
Yeah.
want to focus on? Who do you look up to and like, this is a guy like this guy?
You know, I'm quite diverse because my mind it doesn't work in a unilateral, position.
Correct.
It works like that, It goes back and forth, back and forth. So I have different people that inspire me for different things. Steve Harvey is one of them. Tyler Perry is one of them. It's easier for us to get inspired by people that don't feel like they're too far away from things that we can attain.
The ladder is not that tall.
My faith inspires me as well. The rain inspires me as much.
Yes, you go work.
Right. The rain inspires me, and I mean that.
Correct.
Because anything around me inspires me. When I look at the ring light that you have,
Yes.
I'm thinking about what can I do to maximize on what the ring light is doing for me.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm inspired by the things that I'm inspired by your sweater that you're wearing right now. I'm looking at the fabric and I'm thinking,
vibes,
okay,
yes.
yeah. So it comes. In other words, what I'm trying to say that the inspiration comes from within. But these people that we look at and idolize are just an added aspect of what we need in order to get to where we're trying to go. So, but there are so many people, and that goes with their stories on how they made it.
Correct.
Like if you, I said Tyler Perry,
Yes.
if you look up how he became who he is, you look at the story, you're going to be inspired.
Yeah.
If you look at Denzel Washington and what he's done for the community, you're going to be inspired.
Correct.
Even back home in Africa, there's so many people that inspire.
Yes.
Nelson Mandela,
Nelson
different
Mandela.
Presidents,
Correct.
different regular people, grandmothers, parents,
Yeah.
kids. Everything inspires me, depending on just what all I'm trying to say is that if you look at that from different angles, you'll find that inspiration is all around us.
Vibes, yo, ladies and gentlemen, are you getting the vibes? Are you getting the vibes here today? We're not playing. Davies is coming hard. We're having all the juice. You're getting first class sauce.
No, you're my guy, man. I gotta give you, thank you for giving me the flowers, like you always say.
You've done so much for the community,
Yeah.
and I feel like we should start clapping for ourselves. I don't want no radio station back home on TV backstation to come get your story, and I'm next to you, and I
Right.
don't know half the stuff you're telling me right now.
Absolutely.
This is beautiful. Celebrate each other.
Absolutely. In fact, thank you guys for all the requests to send. After I won the AVP Awards, everybody's like, "Oh, send us this, send us that." I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" So sometimes it can be overwhelming,
Yeah,
but
it
I'm
can
going
be.
through it, and I
Yeah.
just graciously explain that. Give me time to put my stuff together. I need to work and balance with family and stuff like that. But I'm also blessed because I'm able to travel with my family when they can.
When they can.
Yeah. So.
And that's important, especially you being in the career, like
Yeah.
us in the industry together.
Yeah.
What's the importance of people understanding, future clients, collaborators,
Yeah.
the importance of partitioning their time with you to let you also satisfy family? Like,
Yeah.
I know you get a lot of, don't you get annoyed when people ask you for content and
all the time,
demand
yeah.
something and you just came from somewhere?
Yeah.
How do you go about those type of situations?
Yeah, I've gone through a shift.
Okay.
I've gone through a shift because when I was just a video guy, right? It was a different approach. But now, by the time somebody comes in my space, they know that this guy is doing so many different things, and they look at it like it's an opportunity. While I'm looking at it like it's an opportunity to interview someone, for example, or to film someone. Right. So it's a mutual understanding, but also understanding that things have to be released in a timely manner or timely fashion, but also understanding that it's not just a question of point and shoot and release. It doesn't work like that, because that's where the aspect of storytelling, real storytelling, comes from. Yes.
Let me ask you, as a photographer, what are some of your challenges? Because taking pictures in this rainy this
man, I've gone through it all, man. I've gone through it all, and I remember,
What are some of the things which were challenging during your time when you were a photographer before DC got bigger?
Yeah, it's also understanding, the levels of details of what it takes. When you watch the game, say for example on TV, the cameramen are in the rain with the players.
With the players, correct.
But you don't think about that because you're just watching the game, right?
You assume the camera is the one moving.
That's right. But they're on of course we have things that sing through the field, and we have cameras everywhere. Right now you can go to the Century Link. Well, it's not the Century Link anymore, but Lumen Field.
Oh, Lumen Field.
Lumen
yes.
Field.
Yeah.
And excuse me, shout out to you, Lumen Field, for all that. But anyway, you can go there. They can literally see anything. If you drop a pin on the ground right now, they can see it. That's how far technology has advanced. Wow. But with that said, you still need the human component, because sometimes you can capture different angles of what they cannot capture on TV in real time. You see what I'm saying?
That's the CC,
yes.
almost like CC vibe.
Correct. There are so many stories I can tell you. If you know football, when Seattle beat Green Bay to go to the Super Bowl,
Green Bay,
that's a whole different story I can get in. I had the shot that only I had to take it because I happened to be in the right place at the right time, and that had me paid up to today.
Oh, my brother. That's what I'm
you know what I'm saying?
About. The moment.
Yeah.
Like you capture something nobody else has.
Yeah, you just never know. You just never know. We're talking about Dorothy Steele right now.
Correct.
I was the last one. I was the last person to interview her.
Correct.
And you're talking about exclusive from the beginning. And how blessed can you be to be at the right place at the right time?
Because that interview might be worth a lot more being
Absolutely.
the last time.
Why do you think I haven't put it out? Right. But yeah, no, I gracefully say, it's an honor, man. I'll share a quick story.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just doing my job, right? I'm at a concert. There's Next. There's I think Silk.
Yeah.
There are all these R&B groups
Silk,
Silk. All these groups. I mean, I've known them for years. We've worked together for years.
Okay.
And I've had the opportunity to work with all these groups through collaborations with people from the community, right?
Yes.
But I say this to say, I recorded the group Next, the R&B group Next, okay? And I went home like every day. The next thing I know, Next broke up. And so RL goes this side, the two brothers go the other side, and the group was done. But in that moment, there was a production company in California, actually in Los Angeles, which was creating a documentary about Next. And I happened to be the last person to have the content with Next. And they found me on YouTube. I posted the content on YouTube, but they can't just grab it and use it, right? And put it on TV, right? Mm-hmm. So next thing you know, they sent me an email. I thought somebody's pulling my leg. I didn't answer. They did it again, so I never responded. They did it again until finally I responded. I got paid for something that I didn't plan to be paid for.
You're like, you want it?
I was just doing my job, right? But that's what I'm trying to say. But you just never know that wherever you are, you can capture something that can be somehow lucrative in future. So the stories are all around us. All you have to do is just look, pay attention, capture, and then release.
As a creative as yourself, like we're both creatives, what's the importance of being at a very good mental space before you curate things for other people?
Yeah.
What's the importance of taking care of your mental health as a creative in this industry? What's the importance?
That's a very good question, and I'm glad that you're shedding some light on that, because most of you that are watching just know that having a mental balance is a key. Because for me, when you see me on the field, on a football game or a soccer field or volleyball or whatever, or even at BET Awards or anything like that, my mental is in tune with what I'm doing.
Why you're there.
Why I'm there. So I know what I'm going to do first. I know what time I'm going to eat. I know what time I need to be there. You have to be there. When you watch TV, the game starts at 1 o'clock. We are there 3 hours before, 4 hours before. And now it's even crazy. Now we have to do the COVID test and all that. The whole stuff. You know what I'm saying? We have all these crazy apps I can show you on the phone
that you have to keep on scanning as you go.
Correct. But this is a unique, circumstance. But even before that, the preparation is much more than the actual production of what you're doing. So the mental capacity has to be in tune. And for me, I pray and thank God at every moment before I do anything. And I get so inspired when I find people who approach life the same way. Some of the people, least people you can expect. Genuine, you know who he is? Yeah, of course.
I did a show with him in Wichita.
Yes, Genuine, you know, we're backstage. He's about to go on next, and I have the cameras. I'm following him from backstage because I was capturing the stuff from backstage. Before we hit the stage, this brother just goes on the side, kneels down, and starts praying. Jay Holiday does the same thing.
Yeah,
These are people that you don't even think about that, but they take their craft so serious. And for me, being around that and seeing the craziness, but also see people being themselves,
calmness,
and I learned a lot from that. So the mental capacity of how you approach things is the key. And then you can be, you hear Russell Wilson talking about staying neutral, right?
Yes.
I kind of look at like the same.
Yeah.
So you almost look like a zombie, but
you're not a zombie.
You're right there.
Stoicism. Like
Yes, you're just right there. Yeah.
You're like water.
So
You're just still.
for me, I just want to say, for me, that really helps me to stay balanced.
Correct.
You know, I don't get overly excited, especially after all these years. I meet a whole bunch of celebrities that who are now mostly my friends, and they're real people. Like, they're real people. You talk about real stuff.
Correct.
Something Michael Blackson was talking about is just the real issues that we're supposed to be doing in the community.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be going to Ghana in a couple of weeks, and we're talking about things like that.
Things that
so you don't see him, you don't think about Michael talking about stuff like that, right?
Building schools, he's building a school in Ghana.
Correct.
And you want to be surrounded by that.
Correct. Shout out to you, my brother, Michael Blackson.
Michael Blackson forever.
Yeah,
hey.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that's how you have to be prepared. Preparation, practice.
What's the importance of relationship in your craft? Because I know a lot of people who walk around burning bridges. They walk around. We have I call it social media ego syndrome. Like everybody wants to be approached.
Yeah.
What's the importance of building relationships? Because you're traveling, man. You're in LA. You're all over the country.
Yeah.
And you're developing relationships.
Right.
What's the importance? How have you sustained them almost?
I love that question, man. First of all, to me, relationships can move you from here to all the way up there. Because that's why you don't see me on Facebook talking about, if you need a video, hit me up. You never see me doing that, right? Because over the years, I've created all these relationships. People that look for services that they know I can give, they come to me.
To you. Yes.
They know how much it's going to cost them. They know. So everything is all. So we don't even negotiate.
There's
nothing there. That's
yes.
right. That's right. So it's, if you want to be successful, you have to create your network. You often hear people saying your network is your network, right?
Network is your network.
It's truly very, very true. It's truly one of the most important things to create that network. You have the platform so that you can continue to rely on that platform.
Correct.
Because if you don't have the network, you have no platform. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So they'll tell you when the gigs are available. They'll tell you, the hookups in the community. They'll tell you, whether it's grants.
Yes.
And I'm talking the whole thing, because it's not just in entertainment or sports.
No.
Even in real life, you need networks for you to thrive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the DC Production CEO, founder, president himself. We call him Prezo in Swahili. Chirwa himself.
I'm working on my Swahili, man.
Work on it.
Nasikia kidogo.
Inakuja.
Kidogo bwana.
Because East Africa is our next hub. We had our Afrobeats on West. We have the Amapiano East. South here.
Yeah.
But we also have what we call Swahili Nation, which Diamond and all these people are perpetrating.
Correct.
So I feel like there's an economy here, there's a journalism landscape here
that's
going to come. Which brings me to my next question. Do you have any future plans of like maybe going back to Africa?
Yes.
Apart from the Michael Blackson type of faith, just go there, like inspire maybe a workshop for 1 week and teach people, because you've been in rooms that half the journalists in Africa have not been.
Absolutely.
You got that sharing knowledge, I think, will motivate people. Do you see that?
Oh, absolutely. With the coming of virtual technology, I started a school online, which is part of my for myself giving back to the community, right? So in Zambia, there's a group of media counterparts that I put together, and I send them jobs. I train them, I send them equipment. So right now I'm gathering some of the stuff. Canon, if you listen to this, please send me all those old lenses. They'll use that.
We will have people back. We have students back there, man.
Right.
Yes.
So I've been gathering all these components that I ship back home Zambia, Malawi, and now Kenya, to make sure that even Ghana actually right now, as I'm speaking in real life, Ghana, the kids continue to do stuff. I do so many things even on the continent that people don't even realize. We do, even when we do pageant, right?
Oh, we did pageants.
So
we did, yes.
we do have the kids that actually who are interns in Ghana, Kenya. One of them is actually here right now. Yeah. You know the story. Yeah, so she's here right now, and so there's all those things you don't see them on Facebook, but it's real work. So long story short, I'm supposed to be in Ghana, the second week of December. Yeah, for the one of the I work with the ambassador. Through ADDI. So we're launching actually what's called the Smart City. In the Cape Coast, in the Cape Coast.
Okay.
So the Cape Coast, that's a place where the slaves left to come to the United States and to go to Port of No Returns. So the same place the way forefathers left for some of the folks who understand the history. Now we're going to the same place to build the same place where things went wrong.
Taken away,
now we
bring it back.
Exactly. So that's a great opportunity. Shout out to King Obokase in the area.
Yes.
There's a university there,
Okay.
and I'm working with the students there as well.
Okay.
Right now, as we're speaking, they're media students who are being empowered by some of the experiences that we have here as well. So these are all things that excite me.
They're still in motion, they're in the pipeline.
Exactly, but it's happening in real life. You can see what I'm talking about. So. And you're the first one that actually asked me about that.
You, brother. We're giving you flowers today. We're giving you flowers today.
Appreciate it, man.
Yo,
Appreciate
let
it.
me ask Mr. Chirwa now. I know I've taken a lot of your time, so I'm
It's
about
all
to
right.
wrap this up. So, my first question: if you had $1 million, get it from a ground up somewhere to jet into any facet of, you have a lot of things going on. So I'm like, should I say DC? Should I say Channel ATV? Should I say? But any facet of your entrepreneurship, what would you do with $1 million?
It's build a studio. Build an academy where people could come and learn how to be creatives. Because now, if you own a business, you need to know that you can't survive without social media.
Yes.
If you're on social media, you need to understand the rules and the games of social media. If you go there talking crazy, you're just making yourself look a fool because nobody's going to be, giving you opportunities, right? So you have to understand that. But now, even the city of Kent, for example, I told them I had to get them on TikTok. And I was explaining to the mayor that you gotta be on TikTok, and she was like, "Me on TikTok?" But long story short, she's on TikTok. The city itself will clap back on TikTok.
Because that's how the language is.
Yes,
that's the language.
Yes, so you have to, if you isolate yourself from the youth, the future is gone.
That's the future.
You have to be in the trenches.
Future.
You have to be in the trenches with the future, so that we can make sure that everything falls into place.
Correct.
A lot of stuff that you see me do, I've learned from my daughter.
She's on and then she's one of the presenters also at Channel ATV.
Yes, she's one of the presenters as well. Yeah.
Hello everybody, my name is Davies Chirwa, Channel ATV and Meet the Queens. Today we're here in the beautiful Seattle, Washington at the 2nd Annual Global Beauty Awards 2019. We're here with Miss Maureen, the owner of the Global Beauty Awards. How does it feel to have made it through your 2nd Annual Global Beauty Awards?
I feel so humbled and just in awe of all the people who flew all over the world to be here. We had Miss Universe Sri Lanka, Miss Universe Cayman Islands, we had the director of St. Lucia. It was an amazing evening where we all felt celebrated. And that was the evening, the whole summary about it. It was about feeling celebrated and what you're doing in this community. We recognize you.
The reels, so you can share with your networks as well.
I'm about to. I'll use it for the promo video.
Absolutely, and you can interview her anytime you want to.
Whenever you plan that out.
Yeah, so I started training her. You probably know this already, but by the time she was 5 years old, I started training her how to become a media anchor.
Oh, yes.
By the time she was 10, she was one of the youngest accredited media anchor in the country.
Whoa!
And most people don't know that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so it's real life, man. It's like we're talking about things that are real. If you cannot advocate to your own family, how can you advocate to your neighbor? Correct. If you can't start with your own family?
Correct.
So that's how I approach life, man. Simplicity is everything for me. Just making sure that I stand by the truth. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've learned from them, and I keep moving. But I won't let you go down the drain, because if I've made that mistake, I have to be able to say, my brother.
It'll cost me too.
Yeah. You know,
Thank you.
so you don't. People that are coming now, they don't have to go through what we've gone through.
Generational
You know what I'm
wealth is
saying?
what we're doing in the pipeline
It's all
right
about
now.
generational wealth.
That's it.
Understanding how the metrics work, then you're gonna be fine.
As a person of color, I say person of color for
Yes.
our Seattle lingo, but as an African, as a black person, what's the
Oh,
importance
now they
of-
say BIPOC.
Oh, but that's a hard man. They're using too many words for me.
Right. Yeah, I understand.
Person
Yeah, of color.
who understands representation. What's the importance of, like you,
Yeah.
when we're doing shows for Zambia or
Yeah.
Malawi or
Yeah.
Zimbabwe? What's the importance of people seeing it's Davies Chirwa?
Oh, yeah.
Who looks like me?
Yeah.
Who's able to execute this? What's the importance? What's
That's
the
everything, man.
representation?
That's everything. Because, like I said before, we greatly get inspired by people that have certain things in common. I'm sitting next to you right now. When was the last time I saw you? Maybe a year ago. Maybe
That
yeah.
show we had like
That's right.
5 months ago.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. 5
And
months
we
ago.
live,
Yeah,
5
not too far.
months
Yeah,
apart, yeah,
exactly. Right. But because you see me, you've seen me grow, you've seen me move from one level to the next. You have the inspiration from just that because you're saying, if he can do it, then I can do it too.
He's moving.
Yeah.
He's like us.
And where you are at the top of the game of what you're doing.
Somewhere,
But you may not feel like that. But then for us who are looking, I see the potential, and I can see beyond what you see yourself. And so that's important for me. That's why every now and then I'll call me, hey man, what you working on? You know that? You're like, well, where's my footage? You know?
But that's our talk, though. We
Yeah.
have it. But it's
Yeah.
important because for
Yeah.
me, I remember in Kenya, we had Larry Madowo,
Yes.
who's right now the news anchor for,
Yeah.
news correspondent
Yes.
for CNN.
Uh-huh.
And we had
I met him.
Koinange.
I met Jeff actually in Washington D.C.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know
now
Jeff.
he's back in Kenya. I
Yes.
think he's working for one of the media outlets.
Yes,
in Kenya.
yes.
And those are some of the two people. And Zain Verji too.
Yes,
Zain
yes.
Verji, the Indian.
Uh-huh.
And I was like looking at them like, they are the only three. And they speak like this and they are
Yeah.
traveling these places. And they're
Yeah.
not only corresponding from Kenya, they were in Congo,
Yeah.
DRC, when they're
That's right.
were there, Somali.
Yeah.
So that made me like a wild person, like, I want to
Yeah.
do that because of them.
Yeah, but then with that thought, if you ask Jeff or anybody else who's working for these major corporations or even
Correct.
the government
Correct.
doing media, you find that there's no gratification. When you're a freelancer,
Yes.
so to speak,
Yeah.
there's self-gratification because you can tell stories
Based
based
on
on
your
the way you see
perspective.
things.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you work for all these corporations, there's nothing wrong with it. But there's still going to be that
There's a menu,
that
there's a
tightrope.
recipe, yeah, yes.
There's a tightrope that you have to
walk on.
yeah. so
Yeah.
so that's where it's tough. If you look at all those old school folks from TV and stuff like that, right now you see that everybody's now kind of shifting.
They're doing their own podcasts, they're
exactly,
doing their own
exactly,
radio stuff,
exactly.
yes.
And the market is now open for you to thrive in any different shape or form.
Just
you
have
know
a message.
what I'm wearing right now, the watch I'm wearing. You don't know. Somebody could be paying for this watch. You know what I'm saying?
It's advertising.
But you have to think like that.
Correct.
You have to think like that. When you gave me some water to drink during this, presentation, I took the label out,
label
right?
goes-
They're not paying us, so take it out.
Yeah.
You pay me, okay? Let's go.
Correct.
You know.
So that's important. The representation thing is important.
That's everything. You have to know your value first of all,
Have
because
you got that, guys? Your value.
you have to know your value.
Yes.
If you're a young man, you have to know your value.
Correct.
If you're a young woman, you have to know your value.
Yes.
If you have, Ferrari money,
Yes.
you don't go to buy a Toyota. Nothing wrong with the Toyota.
The Toyota
but,
is fine.
but you see what I'm saying,
Go to
right?
Ferrari.
So you don't go to Ferrari, car dealership and start arguing to say, oh, but can you hook me
too
up with it?
expensive, yeah.
No, you can't do that because
Wrong room.
by the time you go in there, you know the value of what you're getting.
Correct.
And that's what I'm trying to say. So you have to know your value so that when you step into any space, they know that, oh, General Mutombo is here.
We're here.
You know what I'm saying?
We're here to work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. If you make a phone call and say, hey, I want to interview you, they're not going to be asking like, who is that? You have a website.
Yes.
You have your social media going.
your
All your
stuff,
stuff
yeah.
is there.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to explain. So technology is there for you to consume and for you to use it as a tool to make sure that you can tell a story before you even get there.
You get there.
And I tell people, don't just tell your story from the good side. You also have to show the things that you failed on, because all these successful people that you see,
They have gone through it.
they've failed before.
They can know in your life.
There's not a single millionaire that you can find or billionaire who's going to tell you, I did this the first time and everything worked. It doesn't work like that.
There's losses in
You
in
have to
success.
lose it because there's no failure, right? Failure is just a myth.
It's
There's no failure.
You didn't fail.
There's only
You didn't-
education. There's
correct.
only learning. You know,
Lessons.
that's it. Lessons. You know, education and just success.
That's success.
That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're getting the juice right here from my boy Chirwa. I got the last question from my brother.
Yes,
Actually,
sir.
two last question. The last one is, what's next for Chirwa? What should we look forward to in the future from you?
Catch me in the next movie. No, I'm just kidding. No, I've realized that you know, God has blessed me to, you know, with so many different things, talents. During the pandemic, I've been very, very happy because I was reconnected with my community.
Right.
You know, the Zambian community, Malawian community, Kenyan community, Ugandan community, through the virtual technology, right? So, I still think there's more we can do.
There's more we can do.
Yeah, there's more we can do. Creating classes for the people that can access and see things the way it's done to the highest level,
Yes.
so they can get the mind, inspired a little
yeah.
bit. So with that said, I'm working on just expanding the classes that I'm doing. There are two levels. If you're watching this, there are two-level classes that I offer. Classes for the professionals, but also classes for the master classes. So a person like you who's already there, but you just need, you need a master class. So I do have the master classes for different things.
Yes.
Yeah, because when you get to a certain level, now all you need is just the right tune. You know, that's it. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
And so where we come from, we never think about things like master classes because we think, oh, you go to school, you become a professional, that's it. No, professionals need now the next level.
The next training continuously.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. So that's what I'm working on. I'm working on different sets for people in the community that are doing stuff. One of them is from Kenya, actually.
Oh, nice.
One of them is from Kenya. So we're setting up to be an anchor somewhere in Hollywood. There's a group of women which looks like The View. You know how The View is?
Yes.
A bunch of women together. They'll be talking about issues that affect them. So I'm happy to produce all this stuff from different communities. And so I'm really happy, man.
Man,
I'm really happy.
for you, bro. Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Chirwa. Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, we are thankful that you're here, man. It's been a long interview. And the last question, which
Yes,
is the
sir.
most important question today, is what did you want me to ask you that I did not?
I knew you had something on your sleeve.
But sometimes you never know. Some people
Yeah.
don't want, like when you're giving people flowers, you gotta also tell them what
Yeah.
color do you want on this star.
That's right. That's right.
You
You
can't just put
do
anything.
you want a star? Do you want a diamond?
Do you want a diamond? Do you want a round? What do you
I was
want?
hoping you asked me my favorite ice cream. You didn't ask me that.
I'll the next one. Today, I wanted to capture because we've not seen you here before, and
Yeah.
I want you to be regularly hopping in to give us.
Absolutely,
the vibes.
man, I would
But I
love
just
to.
want first for them to get the real.
Yeah.
I'm not playing around.
Yeah.
Getting
Oh,
the time was
absolutely.
hard. To get to is like
Yeah.
what?
I know, it's
I've not got
tough,
you.
man.
I've been begging for this interview.
I know, it's crazy.
You're busy, man. Bro. You're busy. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. But no, I'm so grateful, man. I'm so humbled for for this moment, and just to talk to your fans and followers and your supporters. You asked me pretty much anything, and everything. The time is short. I didn't break down the things that people, your consumers can probably grasp or even consume.
We'll get
But
there.
I'll come back and break
Yes.
it down. If you want me to present it in a way of teaching,
Yes.
I can do that.
That'll be beautiful.
But the most important thing, that most people ask me, as an African man, how did you do it?
How did you do it? bro?
You know what I'm saying? It's simple. Find your confidence. I was worried about my accent. I knew I was black. I knew I was from Africa. I knew I was from. So it was all those things were negative for me.
Back then, yes,
Yeah,
true, yes.
in my own mind.
Yes.
I was not too confident to go and be with the best of the best. You understand what I'm saying? Everything I do,
yes.
everything I do
Yes.
right now, I'm doing it with them, with the best in the world. When you watch TV, the cameramen that you see there, they're the best in the world. When you're at BET Awards, you're at MTV Awards, the people next to you, they're the best.
in the world. Yes.
So everything you do is the best, right? So with that said, I had to find my confidence first. When you find your confidence,
They cannot smell fear.
they cannot smell fear. Because the first thing, there's also intimidation that goes on.
Of course, yeah.
But you also have to know the rules that you're supposed to be playing for.
Rules of
because
engagement, yeah.
the rules of engagement are necessary for you to know. If you're going to cover football, for example, you need to know, what are some of the things that I can do and what are the things that I cannot do? You have to understand that. Same thing for the BET Awards, same thing for anything, whether it's Afrochella or Afrima or anything. You have to know the rules of engagement. I started from the ground, and most people feel like I'm at the top, but I feel like there's much more to go.
There's a top, but there's also the sky. Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know when the pilot says, "Oh, we've reached the comfort level," and you're thinking over 10,000. You know, we've reached now they even bring back the Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah,
when you're flying.
The Wi-Fi comes, your phone is working, everyone's relaxed.
Right.
And that's where a lot of people still is above the ground.
It's above
but that's
ground.
where we get stuck.
Yeah.
We get comfortable, like, okay, no, I think I've already served myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like you coming from the continent just like myself, there's that part of you that will get to a point that no matter what success I achieve in this country, my whole journey, why God brought me here, it was a seed, a plant. So I can go water other people who don't get that. So
you couldn't say it any better. You couldn't say it any better.
The way you did, I love the direction you're doing, and I hope whichever way we can help DC Productions go up, let us know.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
man,
indeed.
You're always welcome here at the African Excellence, and I'm thanking you so much for making
My
time.
brother, keep up the good work, man. I'll say one thing to you and your followers. You know, no matter what you do, we talked about a lot of things, but remember to keep your feet on the ground. No matter how much success you have, keep your feet on the ground. Think about that, and then you understand, you know, what God can do to you.
What God can do to you. Oh, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, man. Chirwa, thank
I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate
God bless you, man.
God bless you, my brother.
I'll be here. I'll be here for your fans to make sure I give them the nuggets.
Oh, brother, you didn't tell them where can they come follow you online?
Oh, you can find me. You can go to Facebook. You can go if you want to connect with Channel ATV. It's at Channel ATV. If you want to connect with DC Productions, it's DC Productions Media Group. You can find me, and then you can also look up Davies Chirwa on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or wherever you look at stuff, you'll find me. And I'll try to respond to all the messages. You know, sometimes it's tough, but
Busy, man.
but I try to I try to stay curious and everything else. But with that comes a lot of stuff,
you know,
responsibility. But I'm glad that God is always before me, and so I'm always grounded. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome, Sir Davis, man.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will tag on this video at the bottom here all my brother's handles, so you guys can go follow, show some love, and drop some comments now. All right, on all platforms, man. Have a good night.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. God bless you, man. Yeah.
Welcome to Seattle's top comedy podcast, The African Excellence, hosted by the hilarious Fresh Prince of Africa, comedian General Matumbo. On the African Excellence podcast, we discuss trending topics related to pop culture, politics, relationships, and more. This diaspora-based African podcast aims to give a fresh approach to identify, showcase, and create opportunities for African thought leaders. The show profiles some of the extraordinary Africans making a meaningful and affirmative contribution to their communities, cities, countries, the continent, and the world. Welcome to the African Excellence Podcast, now available wherever you consume your podcast.